Welcome everyone to today's video on the analysis of AMC. We have some massive news and some big things have dropped today. So let's go through them. But to start off where we are right now, AMC did actually close at $2.82. So we actually did see a 0.35% drop from price before, or from opening price. So when it comes to how it's actually been looking as of lately, if we do scroll out just a little bit, we do see a little bit of movement, but we are expecting, some support, as we've mentioned from before, around these levels. So, it is really nothing to worry about. We were expected to see a lot of this consolidation happening around this level. So we don't really see that changing anytime soon. Now, it did actually stop at a rough support system. I would say the support system is around here. So we are maybe heading towards this support line, and we could definitely see it go a little bit further down. However, as of right now, it's still in a very, very good place. A 0.35% drop isn't really a lot to really say it is in a downward trend or anything like that. It is kind of moving sideways, but I think that is definitely one of the best times to actually pile up, really get involved and get invested, because this is some of the best times to actually buy when it's actually moving sideways. I do definitely believe in that. So, let's look at, the other things which are actual fundamental analysis of what has actually been going on. When it comes to AMC, it isn't really a technical analysis sort of play per se. Now, obviously, technical analysis does still play a huge part. Do not get me wrong, but I do believe where AMC is heading and what really is in store for it is not just the technical. It definitely is the fundamental. Now, looking at some things, I do want to look at the actual volume of AMC as of most recent. We actually did see it close with an off exchange of 20 million, or around 20,100,000. Okay, that's 80% of the actual volume, which is honestly insane. You really do see how much is happening behind the scenes and anything that they're trying to do to really keep this price down. New York Stock Exchange at 7%, which is a little bit higher from the last couple of days we've had. But on top of that, we also have seen some others drop. So, we did see NYSE National drop to 0.16. NASDAQ BX also be 0.06 as well. So, the volume was definitely a lot more on off exchange. Is there something going on? That is definitely what we want to, to really kind of analyze and see what's really happening behind there. Now, looking at the dark pool levels, now this is actually from yesterday as well. So this is actually looking at that. We see a volume of 5.9 million. We have seen it increase, and the trades, however, have actually decreased. So not a lot of trades, but definitely a lot of volume. So I think that's definitely a big sign to keep an eye out for. So when it comes to that, I also do want to show that when we actually look at some shorts and look at some of the shorts volume that has actually been going on, it is pretty interesting to see. We did see a total short volume of 39.72. On top of that, total volume reported was 11.47 million. Okay, so I'm gonna just keep the numbers very simple for you guys, just so it's a little bit easier to understand. We saw the total long volume as well reported at 60.28. So definitely a lot of movement for today. We have had bigger days when it comes to volume. I think there was still definitely some good volume to be, I guess noted for sure. Now, looking at some things that have been catching a lot of people's attention. So there's this post made which said AMC big orders at all-time high, or all high, since 3 days. So we see Monday, Tuesday, and 10, and also today at 10.5 million. So we've actually seen some big volume. So we are definitely seeing a lot of movement. A lot of things have actually been happening, and it is a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that some things like this you really just have to be more aware of and more kind of in tune with what is actually going behind the scenes. As I've said time and time again, AMC isn't your normal play. This is a very, very different sort of stock. It moves completely different to anything out there in the market. So, these little things are definitely ones to keep an eye out for with how it's actually going. Now, we did already touch on this, but just to show you that it is getting around sort of the media that AMC stock today, 80% of all shares rooted off exchange equals dark pool. So this suppresses the stock price and often creates synthetic shares, diluting the company artificially. So as we've always said, the longer this goes on, the higher the MOAS can definitely be. So, seeing this, yes, it may annoy some people, saying that yes, it is suppressing the stock, but overall, we definitely see it being a good thing because it can actually move it into the right direction. So that's definitely something to keep an eye out for sure. Now, getting into the next one, we also saw this AMC daily chart. We are looking pretty bullish right here. So you are starting to see it, kind of play out a sort of play here. Now, technical analysis, obviously, there is definitely caveats to it, but I do believe I do believe and I do agree with his demand zone. That is where we're seeing a lot of buy-ins, a lot of buy-ups, and I think that's definitely a great sign for, an eventual push into the next level. Okay, obviously, as we've always mentioned with MOAS, yes, it may go up very, very fast, but I know when it comes to AMC, it is moving in the right directions as it will, but can definitely be in stages. It can go from here to the next level to maybe double digits, and eventually from double digits all the way up to anything more than that. But when it comes to the actual price, it definitely does take some time, but I think it's great to see some technical analysis and seeing where a lot of people are actually buying in, whether it's in the dark pools or on exchange, wherever that is, or wherever that may be the case. So AMC, again, a $0 movement on 24 million trades today. So yeah, this is just kind of blatantly obvious that there is something going on for sure. Okay, they're not even hiding it at this point, which is honestly insane. It is very obvious what is going on, and I think it's honestly insane just to see how much they are willing to put, in a sense of trying to shill this, in a sense of trying to bring this down as much as they can. So, it's definitely going to be a very interesting sort of rest of the year. I think there's going to be a lot of things happening that I highly do suggest you be aware of, and we're definitely going to keep you updated with it on this channel. But I think, the 80% dark pools today, the amount of movement that is almost zero, and with 24 million trades a day, it is honestly insane just how much that actually is. So that's very interesting to see there. Now, getting into the next one, I do want to also talk about this other one, which is actually the AMC shorts borrowed. So 22 million shares yesterday has continued to deal with their toxic swaps. So very interesting to see there. Now, looking at this more in depth, we do see that, we actually saw a CTB average of 1.38%, returned 11.42 million, borrowed 22.67 million. So this is honestly insane. Okay, we're seeing a lot of different things, and as I've always said, when it comes to these videos, there's definitely a lot of out there that may be different to what we are expecting from other stocks. AMC, completely different ball game, and completely interesting to see how this will play out over especially the rest of the year, as we are heading into the end of the year as well. Now, another thing to look out for was also this one. Great looking range on AMC. This is the area that I like the most. Buyers are stepping in at demand, accumulating. I still expect a push shoot. There's a lot of effort with little result below $2.80. Stops would be below $2.45 for you swing traders. So very interesting. And yes, I do definitely agree with this. We see a supply zone, we see a demand zone. And as we mentioned in our first part of this video to the technical analysis, yes, we did see sort of this range and this support system hold up very, very well in the past, and we aren't really seeing it actually going to be going further from there. So obviously the dark pools are going to try to push this down as much as they can, but as long as we keep buying, keep pushing, and keep holding, that is definitely going to push us into MOAS, as soon as we can. But holding on during these times is definitely the hardest, but it's definitely the most rewarding and one of the best times to actually buy for sure.